Hiya, welcome. I said in my last Funko wishlist video, which was a top 5 most wanted sitcoms to be licensed by Funko for a pop vinyl range, that I'd probably think of 5 more as soon as I'd done the video, and it wasn't quite as instant as that, but I have thought of 5 more. And in no particular order, here are 5 more situation comedies that would make for excellent Funko Pops, in my opinion. Once again, I've gone with 3 British sitcoms and 2 American ones. Let's get started. Number 5, I've chose Blackadder. Now, I was once again thinking to choose ones that probably have gained at least a little bit of traction in America. And I'm not sure if Blackadder has. I think it probably has, because it stars Rowan Atkinson, who is really popular in America because of his work as Mr. Bean. And as we know, there is a Mr. Bean pop and a Chase one that I'm keeping my eye out for. And I think Blackadder's probably got a little bit of an audience there. It's probably more sort of a cult thing, whereas over here in the UK it is really popular for a long time. But the good thing about Blackadder as a Funko Pop range would be because there's been 4 series and a couple of specials, and each series has been set at a different point in history, so you've got an absolutely massive scope for different looking characters, different outfits, etc, etc. I mean, you've got Edmund himself, he looks different in each of the series, and that's not to mention all the supporting characters. Baldrick, of course, he looked different across the 4 seasons, and then you've got other iconic characters from each series, such as Melchett from Series 4, Prince George from Series 3, Queenie, of course, from Series 2. Series 2, I think, is probably my favourite overall. But yeah, Blackadder at number 5, I think that'd be a really good Funko range. But these things have got to be licensed by Funko if they think they're gonna sell well, so who can tell? This is just a wish list. Number 4, American comedy. I mentioned it in my last wish list video, and then after I'd mentioned it I thought, well, if I do another one of these about sitcoms, I really ought to put it in there, because just because of its popularity, and it's a sitcom I've only seen once all the way through, but I did enjoy it. Seinfeld. It started before Friends. Seinfeld and Friends were like the 2 really massive shows in America throughout the 90s, really. And Friends, as you know, there's a small but quite good pop range out. And Seinfeld, I don't know if the audience is that different to the audience for Friends. They're similar in a way. They're both set in New York, both kind of centering on a close-knit bunch of friends, but Seinfeld was more subversive, I think, and it kind of catered more towards a kind of fringe area of comedy fandom, I think, even though it obviously crossed into the mainstream and it was an absolute massive success. And I'm kind of ashamed of myself that it took me all these years to actually see it, and I did enjoy it. I wouldn't say it's my very favourite sitcom I've ever seen, but there was a lot of episodes to get through and I enjoyed the vast majority of them. So, Seinfeld at number 4. Number 3, a personal favourite of mine, the Inbetweeners. Now, the UK Inbetweeners, the original series, which lasted for 3 series and 2 feature films, I believe that must have gained some audience in America because of the notorious US remake of it that I've not seen, but the bits I have seen on YouTube. The US remake was just absolute horse shit, to be perfectly frank, and they just stripped away everything about the Inbetweeners that made it brilliant, and it was a UK to US transfer that just fell on its arse, really. But the British one, which I'm sure there's plenty in America, Canada, etc. out there who know of it and are fans of it, just so funny, really crude. It's actually the 10th anniversary of the start of Series 1 this year for the Inbetweeners. There's a new documentary coming on TV before Christmas. There hasn't been any new actual Inbetweeners since the second film, which was a few years ago, and originally started out as a school-based sitcom, and the main cast now are really too old to be doing things. I mean, I think a reunion film or episode, just sort of seeing them get together once they've sort of settled down and they've got jobs and maybe even families and things, I think that'd work, but I can't see that happening for at least another few years. But they did it with American Pie, so you never know. I'd say it's not entirely unlikely. But you could have a Will, Pop, Jay, Neil, Simon, Mr. Gilbert, Carly, Charlotte. I don't know if the range would be a massive seller. I'm not sure the range for any of these would sell like hotcakes. This isn't exactly Marvel or Star Wars, which, to be perfectly honest, is stuff that I'm not interested in at all, really. This is a wish list, isn't it? It's what I'd like to see, but people can disagree, and certainly Funko can disagree. They're not going to watch my video and then think, oh yeah, that guy there, he's thought of 10 sitcoms that we could license, let's do them all. Funko, if you are watching, Number 2, another American comedy, mockumentary style. One that I almost put in the other top 5, but I thought if I do another one, I'll put it in this one. Modern Family. It's been going now for almost a decade. It doesn't feel like it's that old, but it's been going a long time now, and I believe it's the final season now. It's ending after this current one, which will be season 9 or 10? 9, I think. If someone wants to correct me on anything in the comments, please do. Ensemble mockumentary style comedy. I'm a fan. I think the earliest seasons were better. I think as time's gone on, it's perhaps gone on a little too long, but the characters are likeable and relatable enough for it to have sustained, and I think it's ending probably a little after it should have done. Maybe it should have ended a couple of years ago. But it's still a good show, still a lot of funny episodes, and it's another one that's really popular, and I'd like to see some Modern Family Pops. It's a massive ensemble cast really for a situation comedy, so there could be all kinds coming out really. And my number 1 in this sequel to the sitcoms top 5 is, and I've got to thank Captain Sexy Pants for reminding me. In fact, I don't know whether to thank him or be annoyed, because I did my first sitcoms list and Captain Sexy Pants said to me in the comments, oh, what about this? And I was like, oh, why didn't I think of this sitcom? And by the way, make sure you subscribe to Captain Sexy Pants. He's a great guy and he's looking to build his YouTube channel, so I'll put a link to him in the description. But number 1, and thank you, Captain, is The Young Ones. And how I didn't include The Young Ones in the first list, I don't know. I was kicking myself, really. I mean, a Vivian Pop, like that'd just look fantastic. I mean, that would sell like hotcakes over here. And I think that there's a good enough cult audience for The Young Ones in America. I believe MTV showed it for a while in the 1980s. It was a programme that really changed the face of British comedy. It just blew open the doors of an industry that was kind of blighted by middle class, stuffy, some funny, some just really formulaic sitcoms, and it was the dawning of what would become alternative comedy, and it was just crazy and mad. And a Funko Pop line for Vivian, Neil, Mike and Rick would be superb. The Young Ones is fantastic. I've been a fan since I was a teenager. It started in 1982, only ran for 2 series, 82 and 84. It looks dated, which is kind of its charm, and it's kind of grubby and creaky, but it's just anarchic and wild and surreal and out there, and it's for the kids, as Rick would say. And I'm no kid anymore, obviously, you can see the grey hairs, but I still love this programme. Still one of my all-time favourite comedies, one of my all-time favourite shows, full stop. And a Funko line, I think, would be fantastic for the 4 housemates. So that was another top 5 sitcoms list. I wasn't intending to do another sitcoms wish list, but when I thought of 5 more pretty soon after I'd done my first one, I thought, well, I didn't make it a top 10, so I'll just do another top 5. And they're in no particular order either. It's not like one show's better than the other. This is just 5 that I personally like and that I think would make good pop rangers listed at random, really. Thank you for watching. There'll be more Funko content coming very soon. Hoping to do an unboxing very shortly, so stay tuned for that. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you to all those who have subscribed, new subscribers and old. I really appreciate you all the support, all the comments. I love reading the comments, so please keep them coming. Follow me on the usual social media platforms. I'll put the links down there in the description. I'm also on Stashpedia. Link to that will be in the description. Have a look at my collection, small as it is, which is why these wishlist videos seem to be a good idea, because I've not got a massive amount of pops to show. Although I am planning on doing another showcase video for my pops. I've got an unboxing coming up, a couple of unboxings coming up actually, and I've also got another sort of showcase where I highlight a pop in greater detail, like I did with my Hollywood Hogan and Scott Hall pops. So look out for those. Cheers again for watching, and I'll see you very soon. See ya!